What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another trade recap. Today we made about $5,000 trading NASDAQ, of course. So just going to go over what I did, what I was thinking, and pretty much, yeah, just the whole process of today and how we moved. So let me go ahead and go back into replay mode just so it's a bit easier for you guys, because I think that has been hella useful for most people, and I've been getting a lot of feedback as well saying that that is very useful. So I'm just going to continue on doing that. So what was I looking at coming into the day? Okay, so pretty much, let me go on like a 30-minute time frame. I know this is gonna move around. I don't know why NQ, I don't know why TradingView just does that in general. It's really stupid, but it is what it is. Anyways, what happens here? Okay, I was a bit bullish, obviously, because we're reacting off of this internal level here, right? We have this gap, all these things here, right? This is rebalance. We inverse this, blah blah blah. I wanted to be bullish for the day, but at the same time, this SMT here with London High, with ES, was making me hesitant to want to long today. Although there's no reason as to why there can't be a long. There could always be new data printing and telling me that it wants to go to a certain high or a certain low, whatever. So shorts or longs basically weren't off the table. It was a mixed day. So if we go back down to the 5-minute time frame, okay, and we look on ES here, right? You have that clear SMT, which was even more clear on the hourly, okay, and then it's just a whole bunch of chop, right? We rebalance the previous day's high, remitigate midnight open. There's really not much going on right now, right? So at this point, I'm just waiting for open, right? I want to see what the opening price does. Okay, here's market open at 9:30, 6:30 my time. Okay, now this push down, I'm still expecting. I want more price to play out. There's nothing here at all, like absolutely nothing. So what happens here? Okay, we get a push down finally, right? We make sure you can see it on ES. So we get a push down here at 9:31. Literally a minute after open, we manipulate both of these lows, and we create a bullish SMT with ES, right? Boom, right here, and then boom, right here. Okay. So there was this, right? We did get an inversion here, but if you look, ES failed to inverse on this 1 minute, right? And then the next candle, ES does inverse, but on the 2 minute, right, we were already up here, and I wanted to see a pullback into this gap to take longs. So unfortunately that never happened. We ended up just going straight up to this high, and then as soon as I saw rejection off of it and also ES not running that high, I'm like, okay, dude, longs probably at this point are out of the picture. So what ends up happening is, like I said, we run this high, ES fails to run it, we kind of chop around a little bit again. Okay, so at this point, I want to see maybe what the 10 a.m. does, if that could give us anything prominent. So we end up playing price out a little bit. We sell back off to remitigate the midnight open. Still nothing good at all. It's just a whole bunch of shit. Same thing here. We display slower below these lows, right? ES is kind of lagging a bit behind. Play price out even more still. Okay, now we're here. So at this point, I wanted lower at this point because we respected that SMT in the morning. We created another SMT. We're displacing through this entire range here. If you look on the 5-minute even as well, we displaced through this 5-minute gap and below these lows. So now I'm like, okay, we're probably just gonna end up being bearish for the day. No point in looking for longs anymore. So after that happens, I'm waiting for an internal SMT and then an inversion, right? That's all I'm waiting for. So price continues to print, that draw gets taken, okay? We end up running up here, creating these equal highs. I was very tempted to just long off of this down close candle right here. And, of course it would have worked out, but that's not my setup. I'm not going to do that. That's very stupid. But we end up coming back up to midnight open again, right? And then you can see we had come back up into this range, about OTE of this range. And then if you look at ES has not ran anything yet. There's still no SMTs, so I'm still waiting. Okay. Now, there was this here, right? We did come down and sweep out this low, this opening price here. So we had a rejection block off of this volume imbalance. Rejection block SMT instead of a volume imbalance. We were rejecting off this breaker here, and then we did get a 1-minute inversion, but I told myself I did not want a long today. So I was a bit like, oh, damn it, when this started to play out, but that's regardless. I didn't really care at that point. I just wanted shorts for the day because there were still clear draws lower that I wanted to see. Now, at this point, right, we put in this high at 10.13. And we actually did end up having an SMT, but it was not a prominent SMT at all. It was just some random swing high on a lower time frame, which didn't really make sense to me. So if you could see, we ran up there, rejected it immediately. And if you look at the same exact high right here, we failed to run it on ES, right? And then we end up pushing up again one more time, I believe. Right there, yeah. So we end up pushing up one more time, and still ES has not ran that high, see? Still failure swing, still an SMT. So at that point, I'm still waiting, right? We end up getting a closure below this gap, but I didn't want to short this yet because all I had at this point as confluences was this SMT and then a mitigation in here. So it wasn't high probability, especially having these candles, like they're very small. You know, there wasn't like a super clear manipulation. It was just kind of like an internal high inside of a mitigation. So wasn't super high confluence for me, so I never ended up taking it. And of course, two of the setups that I would have taken played out perfectly, like this one and then this one, but it's just not what I like to see. Not what I like to see at all. But playing price on a little bit more, right? We end up trading up into this gap here on NQ, and then we actually create another SMT inside of a, or not inside of a gap, inside of this range here, this high was taken on ES right here, this 1021 high, but not on NQ. So, I mean, still at that point, absolutely nothing to take here still. So I'm just waiting for price to continue to play out, right? So we end up kind of pushing down a little bit more, and then we also have this low here as well. We did have a bullish SMT, but I was expecting that to not hold because of, you know, the lower drawn liquidity. So at this point, you know, I'm looking at higher time frames. I'm seeing, okay, where are we on the chart? What is NQ doing? What is ES doing? Is there anything prominent at all? And at this point, still, no, there isn't. There still is nothing here. So I'm playing price out a little bit more, playing price out, playing price out. Okay, now at this point, what happens here, if you look at a 3 minute, come on, if you look at a 3 minute, you can see here that we have a 3 minute fair value gap right here at 1027. ES comes up and taps it, right? ES taps it, we leave an SMT because NQ failed to tap it, okay? We also do have, what, a key level. Our key level at this point in time was this 3 minute IFEG. So we hit our key level, we had the SMT. I want to just see clear action. Like, we're getting like little choppy moves down, little push up, and then another candle down. It's still not good, right? Didn't want to take this because we also have a gap here. And we barely failed to close through that one. So I'm just like, all right, bro, let me just keep on waiting. We end up closing through that gap finally with this leg here. If you look at ES is still lagging behind, right? We have this 1048 gap, and we still have a 1 minute gap right here too that's still holding price up. It could potentially still hold price up. So at that point, it's still not high probability to take. It's way low probability. And ES at this point is still here. So I'm waiting. Now we get this inversion here finally. ES is still lagging behind because we still have this 1 minute gap, so I'm still waiting, okay? What happens here? We end up sweeping out this low, rejecting back inside the range, okay? Absolute, just disgusting action still, chopping around in the range, really nothing going on at all. And yeah, still no SMTs yet. You can even look on the 3 minute time frame. Still absolutely nothing, still nothing on NQ. We end up still chopping around, finally close below this low. I mean, it's not doing anything that's good right now. It's so choppy. It's moving in a direction that I wanted to see it move in, but it didn't want to give me a setup for the longest time. So we end up trading lower. Absolutely nothing. Right at this point, I thought my trade was over for the day. There was absolutely nothing here that I could even remotely think about taking. And I'm just waiting because we still have previous to equilibrium. We still have the New York PM lows from earlier, right? Or from Tuesday or from Monday or something. I don't remember. But we keep on going. And then we get this 1 minute IFEG here, but there's no SMT, there's no key levels, so that was a shitty trade to take. Right? Come up here, still going. Okay, now at this point, you can see, right, we put in the swing high here. We put in this high, we take out that, we trade up into this mitigation, but still there's no SMT. Right, so I'm waiting. Waiting. Now finally, after hours of fucking waiting, We run up into this 4-minute gap right here on NQ. ES fails to run it because look, we create equal highs, so it didn't take it. Scale back down to the 1 minute. I thought these fair value gaps here were balanced. I didn't even know they were fair value gaps because I would have entered here for sure. So I ended up missing that entry. At that point, I'm like, all right, bro, I might as well just accept my no trades for today or whatever. So we end up trading a bit higher to rebalance. Okay. Now at this point, I wanted to see if we could invert this 2-minute gap here, because we did invert it here, like I said before, but it was very weak and there was no SMT, so no reason to do that. Okay. So I'm waiting. Okay, now here, finally, this is where it inverses. I could have waited for a pullback and put my limit here, but I didn't want to limit order and potentially miss out on the trade. So I ended up just waiting for that 2 minute to close. The candle went back up. I got my entry about right there. And then that's pretty much what happened for the rest of the day. We tapped that inversion, which I could have gotten entry off of, but I didn't. And then I took the partial. I took everything off at that previous day equilibrium. So I'm tired as hell just looking at this fucking chart all day. And yeah, I still got to make a lot of content. Still got to do the special video that I was talking to you guys about in the last video when I was driving my other car. But yeah, interesting action to say the least. And then for the rest of the day, we don't even do anything. Now we're just chopping. But yeah, that was literally the trade. Really wasn't much to it at all. This was like probably one of the most highest probability setups we had all day. So yeah, with that said, boys, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Don't want to make this video super long, but if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, whatever it is. Join the free Discord as well, and stay tuned for more videos. Going to also post out the rest of the mentorship videos as well. Just got caught up with a whole bunch of shit. But yeah, I'll leave you boys with that, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.